Most boutique firms feel two things at once. They want to work more efficiently, and at the same time, they don't want to risk client trust by experimenting with AI tools they don't fully understand. At MPL Legal Tech Advisors, we help them set a foundation for practical and safe AI adoption with a focus on risk, governance, and client confidentiality. We recently worked with Hornetje Legal, a boutique employment law firm from the Netherlands. Instead of starting with tools and solutions, we started with their processes and their risks. From there, we built a foundation that gave them clarity, saved valuable time, and opened the path to a predictable, fixed-fee pricing. Let's hear it directly from Joline, a managing partner at Hornetje Legal, what that journey looked like. I wanted to ask you, can you say a sentence or two about yourself and what do you do what does Hornetje Legal focus on?
Okay. So my sister started Hornetje Legal, I think 3.5 years ago. And I just finished my job after 18 years at a 15 years, I must say, at a big, one of the bigger banks in the world. And we always dreamed of starting a company together. So that's actually when she asked me to jump in to do together with her, and so we did. And what I really, what we really want to do is help people to get a good solution. So we both do a different role. Whereas my sister is much more, I think, on the corporate side, and I really like also the smaller clients in the sense that I like to help the employees. And especially when I have when I see that they're not being treated well. And my goal is actually also to be reasonable in the sense that I think, especially for employees, it's very difficult to get affordable legal help. Because in the end of the day, you need to work, but if you get an invoice of 8,000 euros, that's a lot of money when you're not in a position to pay that, whereas the employer is. So what I wanted to do actually, and that's why, for example, I have a tendency to help a lot of women, not necessarily only women, but I really want to make a difference there. And I believe that a good exit helps people to start somewhere else in a good way. And that a good exit should be, in almost every case it's possible, but you need help because the company knows more than you do.
Yeah, and
So that's how we started. And what I do like is that I can combine my knowledge, which I have of working for, a bigger corporation in higher management, with my knowledge as at some coaching I did and my own experience, to really make a difference in that process.
I noticed that tendency to want to help people a lot when we were working together.
Yes.
And from the outside perspective, that looked to me just like you have way too much on your plate. So from that perspective, I wanted to ask you, how does that translate into the bigger bottlenecks or bigger blockers that you were seeing?
So for me, the bottleneck is indeed time. So if you want to spend time with your clients, you need to win time at another point, which I wasn't doing. So, or that results in less clients, or that results in working more hours, and actually then also not being sustainable for myself in the end.
And you had a billable model, right? You were charging per hour.
Yeah, I charge per hour. But there's also my downfall is that when you're talking to a client, sometimes it takes an hour. But it's not only perhaps technically 100%, it's work related, but it's also a bigger picture. So then I wouldn't charge a client in 1 hour, but I still spend that time.
Yeah.
Because I really enjoy what I'm doing. So that's there where you see my downfall is the backside of my work. And I think that there was, I think that is something that you noticed and reached out.
And when you reached out, the interesting part was because I worked with other clients that reached out, hey, we have a good idea and we would like this. But you reached out and you were actually a little bit skeptical about AI. So can you tell me a little bit about
Yeah,
this? What
I'm
were the
skeptical because
reasons
I'm a
behind?
control freak. By nature, I'm a control freak. So, meaning that I want to know what I do. So, whether it has to do with, a microwave that's just installed, or, something I need to, I want to know how it works. Because if I know how something works, I understand it and I can work with that. So for me, I am not, I love computers, I need it, but it's not, for example, my kids, when they see something, they started swiping. They're much further. They're much further in that than I am. So in that sense, I was skeptical. Can I give, my work to, to a computer or, to a machine? And will they do it as good as I do? And will there not be mistakes? So in that part, I was skeptical. Yeah.
Yeah. And what made you change your mind about this? And what made it feel that it was okay and safe to continue down the path that we were going? Because we were going more towards, artificial intelligence, which
Yeah.
was a big question mark.
No, but I think the difference that you made a difference, to be honest, because you took all the time to explain it to me, to show the steps, and also to break the process down in more smaller steps. So that I can understand, okay, this is happening, and this is okay, it's been tested. And it has to do with trust. Is that I think that at a certain moment you need to trust somebody who you trust that he knows what, in your case, what he's doing. And I think that that is one of your strong suits. You build trust. You're reliable. You know what you're talking about. You have the knowledge and the patience as well, which is important to explain it, to make sure that, I was okay with it. So I
Yeah.
think that, and there you make a huge difference, is that you're part of the solution. It's not something, okay, I propose and then it goes away. You're really, part of the whole process and part of the solution for me.
Yeah, that's kind of you to say that. But I do believe that that's the only way kind of to make it work in the long run, because otherwise you just get something that you weren't involved that much into creation in the first part, whether it be a process, a new framework, a new, I don't know, governance that you want to implement, or is it buying a new tool, or is it building a new tool? So like
Yeah.
if you're not kind of involved in the process, you don't really care so much. And
Yeah.
on the other hand, somebody that is actually coming into advising you, they're advising you based on your current situation. As you explained, you started 3 years ago this company, but there were experiences, connections that you brought into this business from years ago. So how can I advise you without really knowing your situation and then seeing how it plays out? Because there's always going to be a bit of adjusting to your specific
Yeah.
case in the end. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, well, I wanted to ask you more little bit about, so how did the mapping out the processes, how did that help in a sense of, first you were not confident in outsourcing a part of your day-to-day job to AI, but then you said that breaking out the processes helped. And how did that help in making it, increasing the sense of security when we wanted to?
Because I think that because when you break it down, you can choose what you want to do and what you don't want to do. So it's I put something in and I get something out and that's it. You still now, you can say, okay, this part I want to do and this part, I do later or I can tweak it later, or so that, in the end it actually gives you a better control of things, better control than I perhaps would have now. And it's something that you need to realize because of your knowledge, which, I'm focused on the law and on, the people and their issues and how they're being treated or mistreated, sometimes in my case. where and I think that you have your own specialism, which is everything about the engineering and about and the techniques and it's actually really nice to work together on this because we have both knowledge from a different side, but together it becomes something better.
Yeah.
And I really believe that and then sometimes that's difficult if you have, because now my sister and I we're with the two of us. You need more people to improve, and you need different knowledge, and you need different characters. So that's why I think this really works. And I think also because you're really hands on. So it's not, you're not giving the solution. And that's what I meant with part of the solution. I really have the idea that we form a team in this with the same goal, but both different knowledge.
That's why, from my perspective, it was so nice working with you as well, because I was always able to brainstorm with you on the things that I wanted to do. And you were also very much hands on because you wanted to have some results, and therefore you were also included. And that I think is very important for the partnerships. Also, anybody watching this, is that there needs to be a collaboration from both domain expertise, because in this case we're joining a technical concept with a concept of not law per se, but
No.
lawyering, because lawyering is much more than just law.
Yeah.
And being in a two-person boutique firm, there's a lot of manual overhead.
Yeah.
And then we kind of throughout all our conversations and mappings, when we understood what are some of the risks where we can bring some more time in, we kind of decided on a use case. And I just wanted to ask you a little bit, how does that now work for you from before, where you had to do things manually, to now?
Yeah, for me, it makes a huge difference time-wise. And also, huge difference because, now it just gets what I need in order to, to have that conversation with the client. And also, what I love actually is the way you can document it. Because now I can do for every client, I can do the same, which gives clarity. Because I do believe that even if, and what I said, what's my downfall is perhaps administration, because I don't really like it. I mean, I'm good at making sure that everything is in the right order, but to say that's my passion, it isn't. So this helps me to organize in a much easier and a much quicker way, and it's all the same. So and as I think, especially when you're, for example, a bigger firm, or if, for example, now something has to happen and my sister needs to take over, she can now look in the file and see, okay, this is how we work. I can take it over. It's easy. But if she writes it down differently and I write it down differently, then then I can say, okay, what do you mean with that? Or I didn't see that. So if you make that into a kind of layout which you want to have, it makes everything easier. So it saves time, it provides an overview, and it creates, a workflow that everybody uses without being and I think that there's an issue, the problem where your tool really helps is that even if you have a procedure where you say we all need to write the dates like this, everybody makes mistakes. And this is just the machine who does it, so he will not make that mistake.
Yeah.
And that really makes a huge difference.
And one thing that always comes as a side effect when you don't have to do all those things manually anymore is a bit of a cognitive offload.
Yeah.
So you don't have to keep up everything in your head at all times. You just somebody does it for you and it's organized. That also, how they say, My mom always used to say that if you want to know how somebody is organized up here, you have to look at their desk.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that kind of helped
I'm
here.
really having a desk right now. No kidding. No,
And
but
you,
that's true. And actually, when you look at my desk, I am a person who likes to be very organized. That also has to do with the control part of me. And this way, so where my fear was of letting go, giving away a bit of the control, it actually gives me much more, organization, the way I can organize myself, which is for me a huge win.
so it actually solved what you were worried about the most.
And even more. So, and that is the part which, I really appreciate and was for me a part that I didn't necessarily expect it, is, that it has so many more advantages than, I thought at the beginning. So and there I think comes also your power, is that, we've worked together, you've seen it, and then you already saw a solution which perhaps I didn't see. And you didn't force, you didn't say, oh, you need to do this and this and this and this and this. But you said, listen, this, can we, perhaps it would be an idea to do it like this. So actually you already knew, a solution to my problems, which, I didn't even perhaps actually know that it was a problem, or that it could become a problem. So I think that is a talent which was fantastic, and that's why it also was really, is really wonderful to work together.
Thank you, Elaine. Really appreciate that. If we look into the future, when we started working together, I remember you were explaining a little bit how your day-to-day looks, how many clients you're signing on, and then you were explaining that you're thinking about two different types of fixed prices, but then you just couldn't see how to get there.
Yeah.
How do you, with all the overhead you had going on,
Yeah.
so how do you view it now?
So what I want in my job is clarity. Clarity for me, but also clarity, especially for my clients. So for me, working with fixed prices helps in that. It's, upfront, it's clear what I'm going to charge. And then I can win some, I can lose some based on the hours I spent. But now, because I can do, let's say, the labor part, which I normally did myself, I can get, IA does it. It really helps me a lot because it saves me a lot of time, which I can, focus on being there more for my clients. So it actually really, really helps me, and also makes it for me feasible to do a fixed price, and and also as low as possible.
I'm really happy to hear that, because that was actually the thing that we identified in the beginning as the problem. It was not you're losing 1 hour here, but it was you want that clarity. And I'm really happy that we helped move.
Actually, I could add, so what I now even, because I can do it like this, I can, even think about expanding my services, on what I can offer more. So besides the fact that it saves me a lot of time, it also gives me more time to develop other areas I want to go into.
That's amazing.
So it's that's really amazing.
That's the
And then
best
we are
part.
just at the beginning, huh? So
Yeah, and to peek into the future, we don't stop here. We
no,
already have quite a few stages planned afterwards,
yeah,
and we already know how to get there. We're planning a workshop that we're gonna use to build another building block, and then we're taking it from there. So
yeah.
really excited for the future. And anyways, thank you so much for doing this, Yolanda. I'm really excited for what the future brings to us.
And I really mean it what I'm saying, what I said, So I'm really grateful that you help me, and sometimes also push me to take a look at it, because otherwise I would never have done it. So I'm really, really grateful for you for that. And of course for the solution, but really, really grateful for that.
Yeah, and I'm really happy that we set the stage for our partnership in the future, and that's really looking
No,
forward.
but I think, it's going to be amazing. And especially my sister now, she's on maternity leave. She's out, she's coming, don't know when she's coming back. I think, hopefully, hopefully.
Hopefully sooner rather than later.
Um, but then she will use it as well. So, and then, because this works, I can really, as of January, I really want to have the different parts, which is cool. I think it gives me a lot of energy to work on the business and the way I see how I can help. Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to being a part of
Yeah.
making that happen more in the future, laying more foundation.
Yeah, no, it's going to be exciting.
Yeah,
It's going to be hard work,
it's gonna be hard work, but busy is good, right? We
Busy
both like that. Yeah,
is good. Yeah,
yeah,
definitely. No, I want to make busy is good as long as if you're busy with the good things.
yes, you have
The
to say
thing
that.
that gives you
Yeah,
energy. So if it's and I really feel that this is this experience has been very, very positive. And then again, I really believe that's also because of your hands-on attitude and thinking, also thinking outside the box and really trying to understand the problem. And I think that's something you can do really well, is that you, when we talk, you take out the points indeed, and you can formulate it into, the issue or the problem. Which I do think it's a quality which is rare, because people hear a story but they don't listen, and there's a difference between hearing a story, listening and really understanding, and then also taking those points out. So you're very good at that.
and that's why I like to work personally with firms and so hands-on, because it doesn't really give the satisfaction if you just completed a part of the job. And just as you said, delivering a solution to me is just a part of the job.
Yeah.
So I really like to see the results and the change.
Yeah.
And if the change should be healing a bit of the pain that we identify in the beginning, and then we're successful.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you so much, Elaine. It was an absolute joy, and catch up soon, because we have more work to do.
Definitely.
What I like about this project is that it shows AI doesn't have to be risky or interrupt the way you work. By starting with the processes, putting governance in place, and keep the ownership inside the firm, Horntier Legal gained back their time and laid the foundation for fixed fee pricing, without ever compromising clients' trust. Below, you will find the case study video of the journey with Horntier Legal, where we walk through the whole process A to Z. If you're a legal team wondering how to take those first steps, or if you already took them and you want to know how to move forward, that's exactly what we do at MPL Legal Tech Advisors. You'll find the link below to book your consultation. Hopefully that gave you a bit of a behind the curtain view of how it looks when we work together. Now, subscribe to this channel and see you in the next one, where we're going to be talking about how to upskill yourself as a lawyer in this crazy age of AI. Thanks for watching.